Welcome back, everyone. Well, it's no secret that the tax system in this country is about to undergo an overhaul. And since, like many of you, I'm sitting there thinking to myself, wow, what does it mean? One day you hear that the middle class benefits, the next day you hear that the wealthy benefits, the next day you hear that nobody benefits. So we decided to bring in an expert. This is John Aldrich. He's a tax attorney, estate planning with Bond Schoeneck and King. Welcome, John. Very nice to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
Bond Schoeneck King and Aldrich. No, okay. That's a joke. John, I follow politics and think that I'm fairly sophisticated when it comes to looking at regulations and things like that. I'm confused as all get out as to what this tax overhaul means. The word you hear most often is simplification. It's going to simplify it. Number of tax brackets are going to go down. You can do your taxes on a postcard. All right, let's dig into it. They are going to reduce the number of tax brackets.
Correct. They're going to reduce them from 7 now down to 4. Consolidation in the lower brackets, 10 and 12, will go up to 15. They're going to increase the span on the 25% bracket up to 90,000 if it's a married couple, less for individuals. And then it's going to go 35 and then up to your 35.9 once you're over $500,000 where it's currently at now.
Okay.
So it's really going to be a compression and simplification on the lower brackets more so.
Got it. Okay. Well, one would immediately then assume that that's a benefit to the lower middle class families.
Yeah, I would say when you look at the brackets and you look at the big areas we discussed before about itemized deductions, that the lower income people are not going to be hurt by this because they've upped the standard deduction, almost doubling it.
Yes, right.
When you get into your middle income and upper middle income, then there's going to be some probable or possible adverse tax consequences depending upon where your break is. You may get a rate reduction, but the probability is you're going to lose some itemized deductions. I mean, they've eliminated some and they've capped some. So it's going to be a matter of just going through the numbers to see where you're impacted. But if you're in a high income tax state like New York, you're probably going to feel some pain.
Right now, New York State, as you know, second or third, depending on where you source this information. California being the highest tax state in the country, but then you've got New York and New Jersey kind of vying for second and third place there, right?
Correct.
Oh, dubious distinction for sure. You mentioned the standard deduction, just so that we can really kind of drill down on this. Yep. Standard deduction now about $12,000 or something like that?
Yes, and I'm talking about married, just in terms of a family. It's half of that if you're individual. Right now it's $12,000. Sure. The proposal is going to take it up to $24,000.
Okay.
But it does eliminate your exemptions, which now are basically just over $4,000 for a husband, a wife, and their children. Those are going to be eliminated.
Gone.
Okay. Right. There is a credit, which they say is a $300 credit for anybody who files, which would be husband, wife, and I'll say non-children dependent. So if you have an elderly person living in your house, it's $300. If you have a college student who comes back, it's $300. And they keep saying that's going to stay. That's not going to go away, although it's supposed to under the bill.
Well, that doesn't seem to have a significant impact.
No.
Anyway, what I'm hearing most often, John, is that if you're a homeowner, that you're going to get, especially in a high tax state like New York, you're going to get hit pretty hard by not being able to deduct itemized items, right?
Well, what the proposal is right now, if you itemize your deductions, you can deduct your interest expense, real estate taxes, and then your state income taxes. Other deductible items are medical expenses, which they've eliminated, but that's a rarity. That really isn't that often used, and other like tax preparation or miscellaneous deductions aren't going to go away. But the two big areas, if you're a homeowner, right now you can deduct all your interest up to a mortgage on $1 million, okay, which is substantial. But now, under proposal, your real estate taxes and interest deduction will be capped at $10,000. The maximum mortgage is going to go down to $500,000, but again, if you have a $500,000 mortgage, 4%, that's $20,000 right there. You're going to lose half of your interest. And if you have a $100,000 mortgage and you pay 4%,
right.
If you have a couple, $2,000 or $3,000 of real estate taxes, you're bumping up against your $10,000.
You're bumping up against it immediately, yeah. So the likelihood of that really benefiting homeowners,
it's going to hurt them.
It's not great. It is going to hurt them. And then, of course, you hear some people talking about, well, then it's taking the incentive out of wanting to own a home. One possible exception there is that the idea of owning a home is not outside of the fact it's the American dream, but that asset should be appreciating over time, right?
Yeah.
So
that's a predominant reason why people buy a home. Besides ownership, it's the appreciation you're going to have in your home. If you rent, you know the rent's going to go up. So if you buy a home, you lock into a mortgage, taxes are going to go up, but you hope the appreciation will pay off in the long run.
Sure, and pay in the long run.
Yeah.
We have a lot to cover here, so I'm going to break this interview into two parts. In part two, John and I are going to talk about how this is going to affect business, small business. We're going to talk about capital gains, and we're going to talk about the inheritance tax.
Okay.
So you just sit tight, John, and we'll be back for part two.
Okay.
Okay? To see this interview again, you can head to our website, looktvonline.com.